live button on YouTube.
Okay. Welcome everyone to Council Matters.
Sorry, Sarah, it's just taking 5 seconds. Should be there now.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Council Matters, everyone. Nice to see a lot of councillors here and various other people. Can we start, please, with apologies for absence? I have one from Andy Rintmore. Any other apologies that anyone's heard of? I think other than that, it's all councillors. Any declarations of interest?
Sarah, I think John Nelson's got a bit of a standing absence at the moment, hasn't he?
Fine, okay. Mark, do we have any declarations of interest? Fair Frome wise, no.
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either. And then approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which was on the 24th of February. Can I have hands up for councillors who agree the minutes for the last meeting, which will have been sent beforehand? Can I have a Mark to propose and Lizzie to second? And then everyone.
Really just checking those numbers. That's unanimous.
Yeah, I should have said, can we do hands? Yeah, rather than virtual hands, can we do hands? I hope that's easier for you to count, Peter.
That's fine.
We allow enough time for Peter to count. Okay, item 2 is any questions and comments from councillors? Nick, is that a hands up? Yes, Nick Dove.
It is. I just, as Chris is on the screen, Chris Stringer, I kind of just wanted to express again, part of me hopes I'm not the most irritating councillor in contacting you about stuff, but another part of me hopes others do as well, if you know what makes sense. But I just want to say, go around the town this time of year and the amount of beautifully planted out, containers and baskets are really, it just looks really special when you actually look for them. It's just, sometimes you have to look for them. And thanks to there's a couple of things that the Rangers have got sorted in really short notice that I've asked them to do, and just say thank you very much indeed. It's you're kind of invisible sometimes, Chris, but some of the stuff you do is great, and thank you very much. That's all.
I absolutely second that, and the Rangers and the whole team deserves a round of support for keeping it all looking so pretty. Any other questions from councillors? Sarah, anything on the notice board?
Yeah, we've got a question from Kate Bealby. She'd like to ask a question, so if we can just make her.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi Kate, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, miracle. This is not my forte, so bear with me. Yes, I have it's quite echoey where I am. Is that okay? Can you?
You're clear here.
Good. So my question relates to a decision made during the last full council meeting. But just to be clear, I don't want to reopen debate or question the decision at all. I do, though, want to ask a sort of broad question about the decision-making process and specifically around consultation. So Frome Town Council has justifiably earned a reputation for robust consultation and a participatory approach to key decisions affecting our town. So when I was asked last week about the next phase of the Boyle Cross development, so the addition of benches and planters, I was confused as to why it had passed me by, to be honest, and I went back over council minutes and discussions. I was really surprised and I have to say disappointed to see very little evidence presented of consultation beyond a councillor's assurances that people were generally keen. So in the interests of transparency, please can the Town Council publish details of the consultation process undertaken in relation to this town centre scheme and any future? So, who was consulted, when and in what way? Were all town centre businesses and residents consulted? or were consultees selected, which, you know, and on what basis? Which proposals and images were people given the opportunity to comment on? How were responses measured? None of this was evident to me as a member of the public watching your discussions. So I can only presume, for example, that key stakeholders like market traders and the Frome Independent have been closely involved in the consultation process throughout, but there was no apparent mention in Council's public discussions of what impact these proposals would have on weekly or monthly markets. I'm nearly there. So I appreciate completely the difficulties you faced in the last year or so, and these have been obviously extraordinary times. It may well be that I've missed consultation boards in town, or I've missed an invitation to comment on changes to a part of town I see every day. And I do know how much experience the council staff have in encouraging engagement and allowing people to have a say. And I would just make a plea to councillors, please, to ensure that kind of consultation is fully reflected front and centre in future discussions and decisions. That's me done.
Thank you, Kate. Does anybody want to come back on that? Thanks, Kate. We'll park that. Richard, did you just?
I was just going to say, should we get back to you, Kate, and sort of, if we can put something together and get a response back to you in due course, if that's all right.
I mean, in a way, thank you. In a way, I think, so what I'm really saying, you know, I could have, had I been aware, I might have commented. I might have commented one way or the other. But the value of this, I think, is that people see what's been done. So not just me, really. So I would just like it to be more publicly accessible, perhaps up online, or, you know, just accessible to us, so we can, and it brings people along with you when you make those decisions. That if I don't like it, I can see that, you know, 250 people responded and 80 businesses in the town centre said, actually, we love it. The market say, we love it, and then I'll shut up. Do you know, so that's really the point I'd like to make. That would be really great to see a bit more transparency.
Thanks, Kate. Nick, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, good evening, Kate. I don't think we've met actually, but I'm Nick Dove. I'm one of the two market ward councillors. Without dragging this into a long meeting, I'd be very happy to meet with you and discuss exactly what the consultation process was in terms of the kind of the process and the system, the people that I personally spoke to about it, if you would like me to do that.
Thank you for the offer, but I think I don't want to take up too much of councillors' time, because I appreciate this is an additional question, and it's just really something I would like to see more of that out in the public realm, because it's really important, and it's something that we've always done we have in the last 8 years done incredibly well, and you may well have done it. I'm not having a pop. I just would like to see it, and I think other people would like to see it, and it helps to bring people along when you're making those kind of decisions. So thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Sheila.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. It's really useful to have feedback on how things are, you know, outside the sort of what we actually operate in. And this year, as you quite rightly say, has been a really tough year to make sure that all the decisions and communications have gone out there. And I think it's fair to say there have been less people involved in our council meetings than would normally happen. And it's useful to get feedback on how we should be making this better. So thank you for coming here.
You're welcome. Thank you. This is horrible. It's a horrible experience for everybody. I think I'd much rather come along to a meeting.
Yeah.
But thank you for giving me the opportunity, though.
We all would, Kate, and nice to see you, even if it's only virtually.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I'll let you get on. Okay, bye.
Any other questions or comments from councillors or staff? We're good. Okay, in that case, I think next is Rachel Griffin.
Yep.
With a marketing and communications update.
certainly is. And Laura is going to join me for this too.
Hello, Laura.
So I'll just start. So this is a roundup largely to look at social media, and we've also got a lot of events coming up. So I wanted to just take this opportunity to talk a bit about that. But social media, as I said in the report, is of course a double-edged sword. Our main objective is to drive traffic to the website and residents and visitors alike towards all of our work really, and other important information. But our social media has to sort of work doubly hard as it's pointing to 2 websites, and our planned content commitment can be quite onerous. So to that end, we've been looking at our strategy, and Laura will take it up from there.
Hi everyone. As many of you probably already know, we plan and prepare our social media content in advance, and alongside this we share timely ad hoc information as and when it arrives. This means we can keep continuing to deliver interesting, relevant and informative communications for our residents and businesses, and it also means that we can keep it looking as professional and as polished as we like all of our marketing to look. We also review social media insights each month and see how channels are going, how they're being engaged with, and how we're reaching our audiences. And that's what's led us to recently reconsider our social media approach. So to give you an idea, an overview of the last few months shows that Facebook followers continue to grow. We're seeing fairly high audience reach and an increase in website traffic, but slightly limited engagement. So basically that means likes or comments. On Twitter and Instagram, engagement figures have stayed fairly static. This all means that people are looking to us for information, they're finding it and they're clicking on it, which is all great, but they're not necessarily then interacting with it. What is clear is that in terms of content across the channels, most engagement has been with the shops reopening, seasonal growing posts, community projects such as growing your street, share boxes, and the idea of a local tiny forest, as well as posts that celebrate Frome, like the best place to live in the Southwest post, the usual road closures, and the town range updates, which are always really well received. So as a result of this, we're planning to trial some soft, low-key changes and improvements and test and review to see what is and isn't working going forward. We can then adapt and alter our social communications flexibly on an ongoing basis. We're aware that we're often sharing a lot of information and that requires more context and wording than we might ideally like. This can be off-putting and it can cause communications to become slightly like white noise. So one of the approaches we're looking to implement is managing social content with a less is more approach. So less overwhelming posting, more tailored content, less off-putting detail, cutting straight through with the key messages, less word heavy and more appealing imagery. We'll also look at the possibility of connecting our Instagram with Discover Frome. The intention would be to support businesses, events, walking and cycling opportunities locally, perhaps lessening what is then shared on the Frome Town Council Facebook and Twitter pages. That will help to showcase the town and also streamline content. Ultimately, and most importantly, delivering a friendly, welcoming, accessible voice for our channels that cover our key messages of supporting our community and local businesses, highlighting our parks and green spaces and the ongoing resilience work will stay at the heart of the social media strategy, while we continue to review and analyse what works best for our audiences. That's it from me.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Lovely. Thanks, Laura. On top of that, we've been looking at events. Obviously, you've seen the great long list that we have. There are a number, I'm not going to go through all the list now. There are a number of differing reasons for delivering events. Really, they centre around bringing people together, of course, and we're all desperate for that, bringing people into the town to support businesses and to support our venues. They're also an excellent way to share, to get to know each other and exchange information. And they increase residents' access to both staff and councillors, and accessibility can only be a good thing. They quite often also have the value addedness of hitting a number of strategic objectives. As I said, I won't list them all now, but June we've got the return of Discuss and Do, Fiverfest, the return of that, and of course working in partnership with Frome Missing Links, the bike jumble. And this week alone, we've had some interesting conversations regarding potential Blossom Circle and also potential drone show for the autumn. So that all looks very exciting, and is just, you know, slowly information is coming through to Discover Frome across the notice boards as we wait for music programs in pubs and theatre shows. Really is just all opening up. So that's mostly what we've been looking at. And finally, I just wanted to say that the new website was launched directly following our Council Matters meeting in February and has been performing well. We did have a few teething issues, most notably with the agendas and the accessible PDFs. But having fixed that, there's been an increase in traffic, bounce rates decreased, and you can't really ask for more in a launch of the website, you know, a new website. So we've been busy as ever. So
that's great. Thank you, Rachel. Anyone else have any questions or comments about any of that? Sheila, yes.
Sorry to come back again, but Rachel, just bearing in mind what Kate was raising there and the issues. I mean, I realise that you know, most of the work you do is around stuff that staff are doing and events that are coming your way from other places. So have you got any comment about how, you know, when an individual, when a member of the council, when a councillor wants to do a project, how you would interact with that and support that particular project?
We would hope to do our best. I mean, really, ideally, councillors and staff are one and the same, and they are council projects, and we will do our best to support, you know, everything that we can, capacity allowing. So,
I just wondered whether
projects to us, I guess, is what I'm saying. Careful
Right.
what you wish for, but
and is there any prospect of actually checking out, you know, how things are landing? Because I know that quite a few of my friends often ask me rather than going, you know, and they're, you know, they go on Facebook way more than I do, and I don't go on Facebook, and they don't go on Instagram, and they're actually finding it tricky to find information. And I just wonder how to help them or advise them as to how to interact more successfully. I wonder if there's any research going on to try and work out what's going on there.
Well, we always look at the metrics every month to try and see what's going where. So we are looking at that. There are things like, it depends where they're looking at, but if they're looking at Instagram, mostly we always hashtag Frome, and that's the quickest, easiest way to make sure they come up on your screen. But really, it's the algorithms. If they go onto our page, if they like our page, and if they like our things, then they will see more of our content. So that's the, you know, directly, but of course they can always go directly to any of our pages. The links are on our website. You can just click on. It should all be quite easy and easy.
Yeah, I think they don't go on the website. They
I was going to say, I guess, what about people who aren't using social media or the internet at all?
So generally we do focus quite a lot of energy on our notice boards. And of course, everything that's on our website also goes to all of our press lists. So, you know, the Frome Times is a really great resource. It goes through every door. You know, you can't make people read things, but it is there. But notice boards, you know, we never neglect notice boards. We really try to make sure that all of our events are on the notice boards.
Thank you, Rachel. Laura, I can see your hand up.
I was just going to add as well, there's all the different newsletters that we have for people who are interested in different aspects of it. So there's a neighbourhood newsletter, business one, the town clerk's update, the community groups one. So that's another way that we get the information out to different sections of the community, I suppose.
And do people have to sign up for those?
Yes, that they can do that on our website, or if they let us know, we can sign them up. But we are looking at that as well, how we can make that sort of easier for people. But the sort of looking at our social, it did show that most people were finding the information they wanted and clicking on the links through to the website. But if anyone does have any specific feedback, that's always really helpful. So if they want to send it our way, that would be really useful.
Thank you, Laura. Sheila, did you want to come back on that at all?
I just wondered who they should go to. Is it you or Laura or?
Yeah, that's totally fine. You can point them in my direction.
Rob.
Oh, I just wanted to express some appreciation. Actually, I think you're doing a fabulous job. When I think of the usual parish council notices that you see pinned up on a board somewhere. They're remarkably uninformative. And, I think what Frome Town Council produces by way of communications is extraordinary. And the amount of territory that you're covering, again, is just mind-boggling. I don't know how you managed to keep it all in your heads. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Echoed, obviously. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Any other points on that? Lizzie?
Just to add to the kind of mutual the appreciation stuff at the moment, one thing that particularly stands out to me is the quality of the design work that you guys do. And I think that's probably Miles who's kind of mainly responsible for that. So I just want to make sure that there's a kind of credit for Miles as well, because when you go around town and you see the notice boards, it's such a visual treat that should be really celebrated as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, then. Next item on the agenda is financial update from Sarah.
Oh, it's me this time.
Oh, Hannah. Sorry. Over to Hannah.
Thank you. So this is the update on the finances to the 31st of March 2021. It's just a summary this time, as the year-end accounts and the AGAR will be going to the annual meeting, the council meeting on the 19th of May. The first item on the report was the income and expenditure sheet. The income highlights: we received £16,000 from Cheese and Grain, and this is for the repayment of the community loan. We received £10,000 from Mendip Tourism to fund the View From Here project. And we also received £9,982 from Mendip District Council. And this was for 50% contribution towards the Borough Cross maintenance from April 2019 to March 2020. The expenditure highlights: we paid Alan Griffiths £15,554 for Marketplace Phase 2 works from 31st of October to the 18th of December 2020. We've paid our annual insurance to Zurich for £11,400, and we've also paid out 2 PB grants. The first one to Frome Festival for £9,450, and the second one to Purple Elephant for £6,000. The next part of the report is the balance sheet. Our assets, money in our bank account, money we've invested and money owed, and these total £1,210,979 on the 31st of March. Our liabilities, money that we owed, and these total £124,340 on the 31st of March. Our total net assets, which is the assets minus the liabilities, were £1,086,639. The reserves on the balance sheet are provisional. The finalised reserves will be detailed at the council meeting on the 19th of May for councillors' approval. Has anyone got any questions on the finance report?
No, everyone's happy with that. Maxine.
Thank you. I actually just wanted to give them a bit of a shout out and just say, Anne and I have been going to monthly. We now go and look at, and Hannah has just been running that absolutely brilliantly. And you're
breaking up a bit, Maxine. I'm going to hand over to Rob until we can get back to Maxine.
Yeah, I just simply want to register my continuing disapproval of our using Barclays Bank. I appreciate the reasons for doing so, but I still want my displeasure registered.
Noted, Rob, and agreed. Anyone else? Maxine, are you there yet? No. Okay. Richard.
I'll just pick up, I think, where Maxine was going, that we do look at these, and it's good that Maxine and others have a little look at it as well, because it's great that it looks good and it's that it's all done really well and the auditors are always happy, but it's also important, I think, as we as councillors should go through things and understand, try as best we can to understand where things have been spent, where things are coming in, because obviously that gives us a good picture. And I remember thinking back when I first started as a councillor, there was always a certain member of the public who used to give us line by line questions about the accounts. So we haven't got that at the moment, but it's no bad thing that sometimes we should look at those things and just double check. So thanks, Hannah, for what you're doing.
Yeah, big clap from Sarah and thumbs up all over the screen. So thank you, Hannah. Maxine's still frozen, so unless there's anyone else, we'll come back to that. And then I think the next item is approval for disposing of...
Sorry to interrupt you. We have to take a decision on that and approve those.
We have to approve those, okay.
Yes, we do.
So can I have someone to propose? Andy Palmer, and someone to second, Sheila. Thank you. Everyone for a yes?
That's unanimous.
That's everyone. Yeah, thank you. Maxine, I'm sorry we had to jump you because you froze. We'll come back to you later if it's still relevant. So now we're approving of disposing of some assets, and I think that's probably you, Peter.
It's me again.
Brilliant. I'm not so good at the guesswork, am I?
So the report was to ratify the disposal of IT equipment totaling £3,325 and to approve the disposal of the boiler and oil storage tank at the Victoria Park office. The IT equipment is not efficient enough for staff usage. We offer any IT equipment to spare Frome before it's disposed of. On this occasion, we had all the hard drives removed, which Sean then destroyed securely. Dave then took the equipment to be disposed of to a recycling centre. The reason for disposing of the boiler and oil storage tank, they're both obsolete and not fit for purpose, and the removal of the two assets will give the Rangers much needed space at their yard. Is there any questions about disposing of the assets?
Not from me. Any other councillors have any questions about that? No, so I guess we take a vote. So can I have a proposer? Richard, and a seconder, Nick, and then all those saying aye.
That's unanimous.
Unanimous also. Again, well done. Thank you, Hannah. Good moves. Next item, Chris Stringer update, I believe.
Thank you, Sarah. The parks update that we present at council matters meetings. If I could just, happy to take any questions, but I'll just point out a couple of pieces. The Rangers have put together lots and lots of new benches, actually. We've got new benches at Tower View. We've got some new benches in Rodden Meadow. We've got, led by Helen Viner, the Wildback Trees project officer, and supported by the community, we've planted a new hedge up at the Packsaddle play area. And we've had some really good discussions and meetings about kind of next steps for Eggford Lane, including the tiny forest over there as well. As I said, kind of happy to take any questions, but just wanted to point those ones out.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Richard.
Yeah, it's not really a question, Chris. It's just that we had some friends around a couple of days ago, so we took them for a walk into Rodden Meadow, and they said, "Wow, look at these benches. Where are these from?" Really. So I had to tell them all about how they were made by our rangers, and they were staggered by that. So they, I said, "Well, if you need some making where you are, I'll get you into. I'll put you in touch with Chris." So that's somebody from out of town hadn't seen it, said these are great. So it just shows you're doing a good job.
That's great. I mean, we will very happily share the design, and you never know. I suppose we could possibly start charging the Rangers out for these things as well. You never know.
New business enterprise.
Absolutely.
Amazing. That's really good to hear. Any other? Sorry, Richard. Yes, again.
Just a quickie. I just thought am I right in thinking we're about to have an apprentice ranger or somebody on Kickstart, something like that?
We've got a trainee ranger called Phoebe, who started Monday this week, so just 2 days ago, in fact. She's going to be with us for 6 months. She will learn on the job with the Rangers and also gets training in conjunction with Adventure as well. So at the end of that, hopefully she goes away with some experience, some accreditations, and that stands her in good stead for her career choices going forward.
Okay, brilliant.
And just to echo that email that came in from a member of the public as well the other day about what a great job the Rangers have been doing around town, how stunning everything's looking, and it's really paid off this spring. Everything's just been looking gorgeous. Any other questions for Chris? Okay, so next item then is Rachel on the town hall updates. Still on mute, Rach.
Right, can everyone hear me? Stop that.
And now.
Good, okay. So yes, I normally start with the town hall occupancy. Tenant-wise, there's not been much change since last report. Active and in touch are unsure of the timing of their return because of space limitations. And we have now heard that Wild Women are not returning in the same form. They may still be hiring out spaces, but they're not coming back to the cafe. So we've been looking at different ways to optimise that space. Same thing as ever, we want to try and keep it as a neutral space. So as a desk space, so that we can use it as a bar and cafe space as and when we need to support events. We have been working with a skeleton crew in the town hall since the 12th of April, which includes the cleaners, town hall steward, desk staff, and it's planned that we will continue to carry on working that way until the 21st of June. Cleaning remains a focus, of course, for COVID security, as well as signage and the track and trace app. This report, because we get a bit of April and a bit of last year, means that we can now see that the town hall, as expected, finished the year with a deficit of just over £32,000. We're 1 month in now, and we have a target of £21,000 to chase currently. So we are quietly optimistic since even since writing the report, we've seen the return of weddings. The probation service, Adventure, have confirmed that their bookings are now going to be ongoing. Dimensions have returned to another bi-weekly booking. We've got a new weekly booking from South Somerset Children's Social Care. So not to really preempt next time, but it does look like figures are moving in the right direction, thank goodness. Maintenance-wise, we've had some remedial work to correct damp in the loos. This is under wider investigation. We had a stage donated, and which should be really useful for upstairs, and that's being renovated as we speak. Well, not as we speak tonight, but you know, we're in process. And I can confirm now that the roof work is scheduled to start in June. So whilst we continue to be affected by COVID and the town hall team continue to feel their way around all the new working practices, everybody does seem to be giving up for activities. So hopefully we will see a return in the not too distant future to a busy and vibrant town hall.
Hear, hear, Rachel. Thank you very much. Any questions for Rachel? Thoughts, observations? Richard?
Well, just another thank you, because it can't have been easy looking after the town hall all that time with nobody in it or very few people in it. So to Sean and the cleaners and everybody who's been there all that time, you know, my thanks at least, and I'm sure thanks to all the rest of the councillors for keeping it going, really. It can't have been easy, but well done.
Yeah, they've done a really amazing job, I think.
Yes, big claps all around. Thank you. Any other points on that one? Because we miraculously move on to the last agenda item, number 9, staff updates, which I think is also, is that Peter or Rachel?
We've got a...
Laura.
There's health and safety beforehand.
That's right.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Yes, Chris, health and safety.
So yeah, sorry. Obviously, you skipped the fun report, Sarah.
I'm sorry. It's a blind spot, Chris. I'm sorry.
So I think so. Probably the key points to take out of the health and safety update: the claim for the accident along the river footpath between Welshmill and Waylands has now been settled. The vandalised wall at Welshmill is set to be repaired at the start of June, and partly in response to said claim being settled along the riverbank, we've been doing a little bit more work in terms of kind of risk management along our riverside spaces. So in some parts of the town, you'll have seen bits of fencing go in where we just felt that we needed a little bit more security just to stop people doing things that, avoid future accidents. So happy to answer any questions on that as well.
Thank you. Any questions for Chris? Can't see any there. Andy Wintmore, is that your hand up? No, that was just a wobble. Okay, thank you very much for that, Chris. And then now we are on to the last item, staff updates. Laura, thank you.
Nothing really to add that's not already in the report, just everyone's busy bees with general day-to-day work, but also taking on training and keeping our skills up. So any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions? Richard?
I know you're on tenterhooks, Sarah.
I've got ages to go before my record's broken.
Just thinking training opportunities. I was lucky enough to go on the first aid course about 3 years ago. It's due to run out in October, so I wouldn't mind an update on that again, because it's actually quite useful for me and any other counsellors who haven't got that or want that. I would recommend it. If we can do that again, that would be fantastic.
Funnily enough, I've been trying all year, waiting and waiting. So we've got a company lined up that we're going to be doing something in, well, last April. Yes, why that didn't happen. So yeah, as soon as the safety sort of precautions we can meet, they're happy and we're happy, I definitely am booking another session or two. So in the meantime, let me know, counsellors and staff, anyone here that actually needs to renew their first aid, let me know, and I can get you on the list.
Yeah, great, and incredibly useful for local groups to have that as well. So, really worthwhile. Thanks for organising.
Definitely echoed. Thanks, Richard. Any other comments or questions? Was there anything pressing, Maxine, that you wanted to share that you got cut off for?
Tell me if you can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
This is a new laptop and it's not working properly. It was really just praising Hannah for the work she's done, and it's very interesting when you look through the finances and really delve into it. And I just wanted to thank her for being so diligent and patient and amazing. So that was it.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. I mean, as far as council matters goes, they're not always the most fascinating of subjects. So thank you to everyone for doing their job diligently and sharing the information that they have, and in such a nice, lovely manner as well. And I think that actually wraps it up for tonight. Peter, have I missed anything?
No, we're all done. Just date of next meeting.
Which is the 30th of June? 30th of June for the next meeting.
I see Maxine has her hand up.
Maxine.
Just to say thank you, Sarah. I think this is your last meeting. You've been a brilliant chair. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Thank you, Maxine. Thanks, everyone. Always a joy.